Isaac Cruz and Francisco Vargas placing their souls in the footprints left by the all-action little big men from Mexico that have come before them. You know, in boxing, Mexicans are revered globally for their ferocious aggressiveness and indefatigable fighting spirit. Cruz and Vargas personify those attributes. One of the most celebrated brawlers of the last decade, engaging in back-to-back Ring Magazine Fights of the Year against Takashi Miura in 2015 and Orlando Salido in 2016. Vargas won a 130-pound title in 2015 by stopping Miura, then battled Salido to an action-packed draw before losing his title to Miguel Berchelt in another memorable affair. He, in fact, lost twice to Berchelt, but since those losses in 2017 and 19, he underwent surgery to address his chronic cutting around the eyes, and he's won 2 fights, both at 135. Meanwhile, Cruz, well, he's definitely not cruised. He's been on a meteoric rise, going 16-0-1 with 12 knockouts since his only pro loss. In his 6th fight, he announced his presence with an electrifying first-round knockout over veteran Diego Magdaleno last September. Followed that up in March with a unanimous decision win over the previously unbeaten Matias Romero. First time he went 12 rounds, and it was an ugly, foul-filled affair, and right now he looks like an attack dog, a Pitbull that is ready to be unleashed.
All right, I guess we know what his nickname is based on that outfit. Let's take a look. Now, Cruz at 5'4" is one of the shortest lightweight contenders, if not the shortest. And he's giving away 4 inches to Vargas, even though Vargas, as Mauro pointed out, is naturally a junior lightweight. Now, the other number to look at here is the age of Vargas. At 36, is he too shop-worn to battle with this young fighter? We're going to find out.
Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, from the Toyota Center here in Houston, Texas, Premier Boxing Champions continues the action with a highly anticipated co-main event of the evening. Introducing our 3 judges once again, all from the state of Texas: Jesse Reyes, Randy Russell, and Eva Zaragoza. And introducing our referee in charge of the action, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, James Green. All right, fans, here we go with the co-main event of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing scheduled in a lightweight special attraction. Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with silver trim, hailing from Mexico City, La Ciudad de Mexico. He weighed in at a ready 134 pounds. His record stands at 27 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, with 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the WBC number 7th ranked world contender, introducing the former WBC super featherweight champion of the world, introducing Francisco El Bandido Vargas. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner in this 10-round attraction, wearing blue trunks with white trim. He also hails from Mexico City, La Ciudad de Mexico. He weighed in at a trim and ready 133 pounds. With a record of 21 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. He has 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the exciting and relentless WBA number 3 and IBF number 2 world-ranked lightweight contender, introducing Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Once again, a referee in charge, James Green, now to give instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, I went over the instructions in the dressing room with both fighters. I want you to protect yourself at all times, and at all times obey my command. Touch gloves, back to your corners.
Relative newcomer to refereeing, James Green, 2 years as a pro. Speaking of Green, this is his 29th professional fight, and it promises to be a barn burner. Round number 1, Isaac Cruz in the blue and white trunks, Francisco Vargas in the black with silver trim, and with all due respect to the Westminster Dog Show, Cruz the Pitbull doesn't want to be best in show. He wants to be best on Showtime tonight, and immediately they come together.
Guys, are you guys ready for a treat? I think we're in for a treat against these two guys. I mean, styles make fights, and this, both styles is just perfect, tailor-made for each other.
You had me at all Mexican affair. And you remember the legendary battles. One of my favorites, the Battle of the Z-Boys, Carlos Zarate and Alfonso Zamora, Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales, Israel Vasquez, Rafael Marquez. Hey, if this is 1/100th as good as any of those battles, we're in for a Fight of the Year candidate.
You know, Cruz sparred with Vargas before he fought Diego Magdaleno. They only sparred 3 rounds. He said, though, it was enough for them to base their whole fight plan on that sparring session.
No foe. Well, Cruz having a flashback to the fight against Romero, which was went to a wrestling match in a boxing fight, almost broke out.
Well, that was Cruz that initiated that.
No, but I'm just saying that, you know, against Romero, we saw the same kind of stuff. And with the way these two come at it with their heads, you've got to be careful. Especially Vargas, who's had plastic surgery around the eyes. And in his first fight back after surgery, he got cut and still won the fight on a technical decision. Are you expecting many jabs in this fight, Abner?
I am, and I would like to see more jabs coming from Vargas and Cruz. Cruz is not so much of a jabber. He's just a pressure fighter, looping punches, and Vargas has to jab, you know, stop him in his tracks.
I was a little sarcastic, but I'll take your answer there, brother. I don't think we're going to see many. Under 45 seconds left in the opening round.
Vargas would like to at least show that punch, and there he's doing it.
Look at the jab.
Yeah, he wants to control the range a little bit if he can. And there's the uppercut.
Right,
that's a key weapon for Vargas.
Under 30 seconds left, and like I say, relatively new referee James Green going to have his hands full as these two go at it close quarters, and Cruz putting together a combination, knocking Vargas back with that left hook momentarily, catching him off balance. Ooh, winding up with that right uppercut was Cruz. Well, Cruz is sitting down on his punches early. Vargas slipped a right hand behind the guard. Man, spiteful shots.
Well, there was lots of good legal action in that round, but there was one moment where we had a takedown.
Yeah, not a knockdown.
No, and Cruz looked like a very good linebacker taking Vargas down. The Houston Texans are in need of some help. Let's take a look at the keys to victory. For Cruz, of course, he wants to make this a firefight. He wants it to be a brawl. He lands 48% of his punches to the body, so he wants to do that. We saw the overhand right in round 1, a very effective weapon. And across the way for Vargas, stay off the ropes. That's a big one for him. He did establish the jab a little bit in round 1, and most importantly, in his last fight against Otto Gomez, he won by knockout using the uppercut. And we saw one of those in round 1.
Round number 2 scheduled for 10 at 135 pounds. Vargas at 2-0 at 135, while Cruz is continuing to move up the rankings, looking to go from surging prospect to contender. There's a nice left hook to the body by Cruz and a left hook upstairs.
Vargas averages 78 punches per round. He threw 68 in the first round, so he's almost on pace. And of course, Cruz was very busy too, throwing 65.
Now, I know you guys aren't expecting a lot of jabs because of their styles, but look at Vargas. He has been establishing that jab really well.
Oh, it is key. I was joking, Abner. I understand what you mean. I'm just looking with Cruz. He is sitting down on everything.
I know
Cruz is all power.
Yes, Cruz is all power, but Vargas has the experience. He's been in this wars before.
Amen. Man, Cruz is just every single shot is thrown with bad intentions.
He only lands one jab around Cruz, so it's all power punching with him, and he is going to whack away. Now, one of the good things that Vargas is doing is using all of this ring and controlling controlling the distance. So it's not his normal way of fighting, but you know what he said, I have a plan, and I'm going to use that plan. At some point, I'm going to have to brawl with him, but I want to use my plan round to round.
And maybe his best path to victory and trying to create distance and utilize that jab despite the hellacious wars he's been through. Those were a few years ago, and those back-to-back fights of the year, they take a lot out of you. And he's been forced to alter his style a bit, although again, against a guy like Cruz, at any time, this could turn into a firefight.
Absolutely.
And especially if you did your homework. When we saw Cruz against Matias, I mean, he got frustrated because of the movement. Even though it wasn't the best movement that Matias had, but he gave him problems.
Under a minute left here in the second.
Only a 3-month layoff for Cruz. In this day and age, that's a very short time to come back.
Cruz doesn't have to duck a lot to get underneath the left hook again with his physical dimensions.
Eso. Vámonos de ahí. Vámonos de ahí. Fuera, fuera, fuera. Ese ya, bandido. Pintando. De dos o de tres.
Now that's another smart thing Vargas is doing in the inside. He's holding. He's got to hold, grab, turn him.
Clash of heads from Cruz. Wow.
What took him so long?
Yeah, really.
No lo dejes pensar, píntalo.
Tillman Fertitta, the owner of the Houston Rockets, on hand for this boxing card here at the Toyota Center.
Well, Cruz has a very good overhand right, and you see him starting out with the hook to the body, and there comes that right hand over the top. That's really his signature punch. And he'll use it, and there you see him using it again and throwing that right hand to the top of Vargas's head. And there's him using his head, Cruz, on the inside. And, you know, that's dangerous for Vargas, who's cut 7 times in his career.
Round 3 scheduled for 10 at 135 pounds. To all action warriors. Isaac Cruz from Mexico City, Francisco Vargas, born and raised in Mexico City. And Vargas looking to work again behind the jab, follows it up with the right hand just out of range. Nice left hook again, ripped to the body by Cruz.
Now, I know Francisco Vargas really well. We're in the same Olympics team. He did not make the 2004 Olympics, so he waited another cycle in order to go to the Olympics.
And he just got clipped by Cruz, off balance, and the veteran Vargas holding on.
That was a great veteran move to hold.
Vargas has been down once against left-handed Takashi Miura when he won the title, and Cruz now pouring it on, attacking the body of Vargas, and the veteran again trying to nullify Cruz's forward movement.
Cruz, of course, is a body shot specialist, and you see the evidence of that there with those numbers.
At his height, he better be a body shot specialist, and he's coming forward.
You bet.
Man, he is just swinging wildly, but there's that lane open down the middle, Abner, and Vargas has yet to find it.
Cruz is teeing off with those hooks. Vargas has to be careful when he walks in.
Good uppercut a moment ago by Vargas. So, you know, it's the best of times and worst of times for Vargas. He lands 25 punches per round according to show stats, which is 6th among active fighters. However, he gets hit 24 times a round, which is the most by any active fighter.
Final minute here in the third. Al Bernstein turning it into a Dickensian affair. Nicely done. Oh, wow, a wild right uppercut by Cruz.
Well, you made your first leprechaun reference. I made my first Dickens reference.
And Cruz and Vargas, well, they are just looking to mark each other up at close quarters. Under half a minute remaining here in the third.
It's been a very interesting round on many levels.
And Vargas, momentarily bothered earlier in the round, has been able to clear the cobwebs and utilizing veteran tactics and darting in and out with the jab.
Just concentrate on your fight. Keep doing the same thing. You gotta work. You gotta work. You fight your fight. Last round was a good round, but not just one punch.
A staple of Cruz's attack is the overhand right. He starts with the left hook. The left hook of Vargas, he keeps his left hand low, and Cruz comes with the overhand right. He is landing that punch a lot in this fight and landed 3 or 4 in that round. But Vargas had some good moments, and there's the uppercut. We talked about that. It created a knockout in his last fight. He wants to get that punch home and did there.
Round number 4, scheduled for 10 at 135 pounds. Cruz at 23 feels like his youth is his biggest asset against a 36-year-old veteran Vargas who's been through myriad wars. And Cruz told us his youth combined with his hunger are going to be the two things that, well, prove to be the difference in this fight. He is hungry to gain a title shot again. In the last year, he saw Cruz went from, you know, a no-name to now being a television staple here on Showtime now.
Yeah, he's got an exciting style, and I'll tell you what he is doing in this fight, too. He's really using his head to go after Vargas. Don't you think, Abner, to go after Vargas?
Yes,
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
It is.
I got to say.
And he's used it a few times. He's headbutted Vargas, but he's really smart in this fight. He knows how the moments when to get in, just like that.
Right uppercut.
He waits for either the lazy jab or the overhand right, and he gets in the right position to land both overhand right, the overhand right or the other hand. But just, oh, there it is.
Right. I got you. Watch your hands.
Llaveando, papá, llaveando, bandido. Desespéralo. Eso, 1, 2.
Lead left hook to the body by Cruz, misses with the sweeping left hook. Upstairs, tries to turn it into a modified headlock, and again goes to the body with left hook. Overhand right, clip the jaw of Vargas, who comes back with a right of his own that was blocked.
And that's how he starts out. He punches in the body, concentrates his punch there, and then he comes up with snares.
It's too bad the respective corners aren't that animated tonight with 1:10 left here in the 4th frame.
Boy, they are going at it, aren't they? This has been a pretty close round with, you know, Pitbull doing some good power punching and Vargas landing the uppercut on occasion.
Off his head, off his head. I got you. I got you. Off his head.
Se agachan los golpes hacia atrás. Obedece, bandido, llaveando. Llaveando.
There again, lead left hook to the body, followed by a left hook upstairs, and Vargas has been eating a lot of those shots here. 30 seconds left in the 4th, and the valiant effort by the veteran staying in the pocket and still looking to make it a fight.
Landing a nice right hand, Vargas. So he's gotten that punch in from time to time as well. This hasn't been that bad around for Vargas.
And Cruz has had his moments again with that left hook, but you're right. It's
Right. I got you. Let me have it.
Incremental improvement in any case.
Come on, break it up.
We are through 4, scheduled for 10 here in Houston, and former super lightweight champion Regis Prograis on hand, taking in the action here amongst the thousands of fans at the Toyota Center, home of the Rockets, and a man who is, well, continuing to be a rocket at 160 pounds. He wants to be the man at 160, begging to get the biggest fights. And tonight, Jermall Charlo hoping to culminate one of the most memorable weeks in his life with another memorable victory here against Jose Montiel. And on Thursday, he and his family were at the ballpark as Jermall was set to throw out the first pitch at an Astros game, and Al, he skipped it.
Hey, he got there on one bounce, but it got there. And the mascot made a nice play, by the way. As a former catcher, I appreciated that.
And Jermall Charlo, instead of the first pitch, he'll be looking to hit his opponent harder than Jose Altuve's been hitting the baseball lately in our main event. Round 5, scheduled for 10.
Eso ahí, seguro, seguro. Quítalo. Eso ahí, no importa. Vámonos ahí, vámonos ahí. Vamos con los volados. Dale vuelta, dale vuelta.
You know, we asked at the fighter meetings, we asked Vargas whether he stayed at 130 a little too long in his career, should have come up to 135 earlier, and he said, you know, maybe, but this is his 3rd fight at this weight class, and he's hanging in there against a very strong lightweight. He may not be winning, but he's hanging in there and doing some good work.
Now, Vargas has been stopped twice by Miguel Burchell and has taken some shots from Cruz, but Vargas now delivering some shots of his own, and then again, though, that jab momentarily staggered him. Minute gone in the 5th.
Vargas definitely coming on in this round. It's just that moment where he gets lazy. I think he throws a 1-2, and Cruz is easy to land the overhand left or overhand right. But when Vargas gets busy, he does damage.
Man, Cruz sneaking in some rapid punches there too, away from the referee who's finally admonishing him. So Cruz not above bending the rules here tonight.
In some ways, he seems more like the veteran, doesn't he?
Yes. He maybe picked up a tip from the Romero fight in that regard.
I think so, yeah.
Otra vez empezamos con el jab. Cámbiasela. Quítalo. Cámbiasela. Vivo, vivo.
The reflex is not quite there for Vargas, as we saw moments ago, where he tried to counterpunch at Cruz, but was not effective. Oh, that was a good overhand right.
Final minute of the 5th. Vargas, so many battles, so many cuts and facial swelling, and the age, here he is at 36, hanging in there with a 23-year-old upstart, standing in the danger zone, and at times giving as good as he's getting here.
Overhand right got there again for Cruz, and that's become a big story in this fight.
The jab scores for Cruz. There was a jab.
He can throw a jab. How about that?
Ya vea, ya vea. Ya vea, papá. No te olvides de las cintas.
All a Mexican battle here at 135 pounds as we reach the halfway point at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. Still to come, Jermall Charlo defending the middleweight title against Juan Montiel.
Be careful, you gotta be careful. Take your time, be cold. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The way you were doing it. You get mad and then you want to just throw punches. Take your time, be smart with your head. See who's smarter in there. Mid-distance, mid-distance.
Well, with two cuts, now one over each eye, here you see a clash of heads. We've seen this a number of times. Now that one, I'm not going to blame Cruz for that one. They both came in, and there's the nice uppercut by Vargas. It's a punch he wants to land, but that clash of heads, clearly a problem.
Vargas told us that he is a warrior, and tonight people are going to remember the reasons why he was in the 2 Fight of the Year battles. Although for his own career's sake, I think what he's doing now with the game plan and working behind the jab is going to behoove him in the long run.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They've called Vargas the Mexican Arturo Gatti. Tonight he is fighting in a more tactical way than Arturo.
That's good, trying to prolong his career and smart.
At the halfway point of this 10-round lightweight affair, our unofficial score, Steve Fard, who was scoring tonight's fights remotely, has Cruz pitching the shutout. So he's doing a better job of pitching, I guess, than Jamal Charlo did in that first pitch.
Yeah, I don't know that you can, even though there have been a lot of competitive moments in this fight, you can make a case for Steve scoring because Cruz has done a little bit more in most of these rounds. So the question is, has he done it in all of them?
And there again, leading to the body with the left hook, going upstairs with the right hand. But Alameda does come back with some shots, but they aren't as eye-catching, aren't as powerful as Cruz's shots. But here now, turning it into that fight that we anticipated.
Wow, what a right hand by Vargas. In this round, he's landing better, though, than more power punches than he has previously.
I was just going to say, this is the 6th round, so this is where you see either the youth from Cruz or the experience from Vargas, and then it's showing a little bit of both. I think Vargas coming along in this round, showing us something at least.
Wow, lead right hand clocking Vargas by Cruz. Under a minute left in the 6th.
Vargas being really smart, taking his time, not really committing yet. He's jabbing, waiting for Cruz. But if he really wants to take the round, he's got to invest a little bit more.
Left uppercut on the inside scored for Alameda. Just missed with the right uppercut, but in close, having some success under 30 seconds. And Cruz, is the bully in this fight tonight. And Cruz leads with a right uppercut. And again, lots of space in between Cruz's punches. If Vargas can time him, there's a lane open down the middle, and Alameda lands a 1-2, but then he's knocked back by Cruz's shots. Seven-time NFL Pro Bowler Andre Johnson, former Houston Texan, receiving some love from the crowd here in H-Town.
This is the 5th round. We're going to the 5th round. I need you to work. You're working good. Don't rush the uppercut. Don't give him all the advantage. You hit him and then you give him advantage. Keep working like that.
Round number 7 scheduled for 10. Isaac Cruz, 16-0-1 with 12 knockouts since his only pro loss in his 6th fight, while Francisco Vargas, former 130-pound belt holder, 2-0 since moving up to 135, both of those tune-up fights.
Now again, Vargas doing a good job with the jab. He starts off really well, but you know he's got to throw something behind that. The right hand, it can't be as slow as he's throwing it now. He's got to come back with something behind that right hand as well.
Oh, triple four uppercuts on the inside, but he was also holding the back of Vargas' head.
Talk about a bettering move. That's a definite.
And he's 23. And Alameda having some success now with the left. And there's a nice left hook curling behind the guard of Alameda by Cruz. And some shoulder strikes there from Isaac Cruz on the inside.
Cruz is using the jab a little bit more now in this fight, even trying to work his way in, and even in the midst of you know, Vargas having a little bit of a rally.
And a really good one, by the way. He's jabbing to his stomach.
And Francisco Vargas coming back upstairs with a combination. And now at close quarters, both of them digging. Cruz going to the body, Vargas going upstairs.
Last 2 rounds of this fight have been very entertaining.
Fantastic stuff here between Isaac Cruz and Francisco Vargas.
Yeah, if you're Vargas, you don't want to stay there. Cruz being the smaller guy, that's where he wants to be. You want to land those overhand rights, those looping punches.
1-2 by Vargas. 45 seconds left in the 7th. Double jab gets through the guard for Vargas.
But it's a double jab from Vargas, and then Cruz comes in with the vicious overhand right.
I got you. Let me have it.
Vargas corner calling for the jab. He continues to deliver. Cruz on the ropes. Moving to his left. We are through 7 at the Toyota Center in Houston.
Vargas took the uppercuts in this round. He's been landing them, but Cruz doing a little holding and hitting. Another veteran move from the youngster. Not entirely legal, and cranking his head in there too. Now, Cruz, we've talked about his overhand right, but that left hook was excellent as well. And Abner, the uppercuts from Vargas have been impressive.
As they have been, and whenever he lets go of the uppercuts, because he's too concentrated on landing a 1-2 punch. He's got to let go of those uppercuts as well.
How do you feel? You can't throw punches, or what's going on? I already told you. Don't make the mistake. You get close, you're not in the right range. You got to get in the right range, then throw punches.
Like Cruz's corner, I thought there would be much more output from the power puncher, but Cruz continues to move forward here, round 8. What did you think about the instructions in the corner, Abner?
They were good. I think, you know, they're telling Vargas one thing, and another thing is that he can't react his body. You know, I think that he's not being able to let go of his punches. Again, he's just relying on a 1-2, and it's Cruz that's doing the damage with the body work. Again, we talked about the wars that Vargas has been in. Salido, Mura, Rachel twice. I mean, and all tough fights.
And here he is at 36 against a young up-and-comer known for his power in Isaac Cruz, and Francisco Vargas hanging tough and taking the fight now to Cruz on the ropes.
See these fighters as they've gone past round 7. Vargas with obviously a lot more experience. He's been 12 rounds several times in key fights, and so it's, you know, we'll see how they go and who's taking the most punishment as we go forward.
Cruz continues to lead with that left hook to the body.
And again, Vargas making these rounds competitive, but not winning any of them. I think Cruz is just landing.
Well, according to our unofficial score, Steve Farhood, Vargas has scored just one round in his favor, that being the 6th.
Good body work again. Cruz is known as a good body puncher, and he's landed 49 body punches in this fight. And so that's been impressive for him.
Final minute of the 8th. We are scheduled for 10 in the 135-pound weight class. And Cruz with his eyes on a future title shot at his height, 5'4", 135-pound titleist. Guys like Ray Mancini, the legendary Tony Canzoneri, and Leo Dorin, who was in the first Showbox main event in July 2001.
Absolutely.
And the first Showbox alum to win a world title. And happy 20th anniversary to Showbox, the new generation.
And Stevie Johnson, also a 5'4" champion. So some good luck.
Oh, and Cruz coming forward, leaping with that right and left, backing Vargas to the ropes as we come to the end of round number 8. Still to come, the main event, where Juan Montiel looks to author a huge upset, a prohibitive underdog, but he is 3-0-1 since moving up to 160 pounds in September 2017. Most recently scored a first-round knockout victory over the shop-worn James Kirkland in December of 2020. All 22 of his wins have come via form of knockout, and yes, he is counting on the proverbial puncher's chance. And here at the Toyota Center in Houston, Showtime Championship Boxing bringing you a triple header. Still to come, the main event, Jamal Charlo defending his middleweight title against Juan Montiel. Mauro Ranallo along with Al Bernstein, Abner Matis, Brian Custer, Jim Gray, and our entire Showtime Championship Boxing crew as we are now into round number 9. Will it turn into that all-Mexican brawl that we have anticipated, or will Vargas continue to try to be the veteran and try to utilize the fundamentals to stay alive in this fight? Oh, and he's getting tagged now by Cruz.
We've seen elements of that exciting firefight, but Vargas has tried to keep it from being exactly that. The question is, has it won in many rounds? Not too many, probably.
And that jab of Cruz beginning to pop Vargas's head back.
And now Vargas also becoming too repetitive also, you know, landing jab, jab, right hand. And Cruz noticing that and waiting for him, and that's why he's been being effective with the overhand rights.
Our unofficial score, Steve Farhood, has it in favor of Cruz by 6 points, so it's looking more and more like Vargas would have to become the first person to stop Isaac Cruz. And in terms of output, Isaac Cruz.
And there it is. He got in with the 1-2 Vargas.
Oh, nice left hook upstairs by Cruz.
Vargas has landed his best right hands, and he just haven't moved Cruz.
Vargas has thrown more punches, but Cruz has landed more here at midpoint of round number 9.
Round 9. Round 9, guys. This is where they show the age comes out.
Another stiff jab by Cruz.
We've talked a lot about the Cruz right hand, but the left hook has been mixed in very effectively as well.
Oh, he leads everything with that left hook and just tagged Vargas on the jaw with a sweeping left hook, short right, uppercut on the inside.
He's still using his head in there. In fact, he almost headbutted Green. Interesting.
Let's talk about Vargas' great chin also, because he has been eating a lot of punches.
Yeah, he's only been down once. That was against Mura, and Cruz has never hit the canvas. Under 30 seconds left in the ninth.
Come on, step back.
Empieza con la finta. Presión pero a la media. A la media, a la media. Póngase la respuesta. A tu media, a tu media.
Ripping to the body as he saw Cruz.
Ahí ya, ya.
Vargas upstairs. Oh, and that right hand tagged Vargas.
No te calientes.
Watch your hands, watch your hands, watch your hands.
10th and final round straight ahead.
Pero no lo haces. Necesito que cierres.
I need you to close.
¿Suficientes o qué? Dígame, ábreme.
Do you have enough heart to do it? Come on, I want you to throw. Change your combinations. Don't just get in front of him. Move to the side. Move to the other side. You got him already. You got him already.
Last round, okay?
Okay. Con las manos la abrazo. Sí, si se me acerca la abrazo, no importa.
If he gets close, hold him. It's the last round.
No nos calentamos.
Be smart. Fight with your brain. Think in there.
10th and a final round. Isaac Cruz. In the blue and white trunks, Francisco Vargas, the former 130-pound champion in his third fight at 135. He's in the black with silver trim.
If you're Cruz, you want to go out there and just close the show.
Pour it all out there.
And if you're Vargas, well, try to survive, try to not to get hit as much.
Yeah. Cruz wants to continue his climb in the 135-pound weight class.
Well, for Vargas at age 36, though, he wants to make something happen, and he'd love it if he could find, look, he's landed his best right hands, and they haven't hurt Cruz, but he would hope maybe an uppercut or something would get in there and turn this around.
19 of his 27 wins have come via form of knockout. For Isaac Cruz, 15 of his 21 victories have come inside the distance.
And for Vargas, you know, he's at a weight class above where he's normally been, and he wasn't a monstrous knockout puncher below at 130. Good puncher, but not a huge knockout puncher.
Left hook lands upstairs for Cruz.
Yeah, Vargas just never really got out of the first gear.
Off his head. Nope, no punching.
And the interesting thing is Vargas has thrown about 50-some more punches than Cruz, but Cruz has been more accurate with his punches and has landed 43% of his power punches, according to show stats.
Just past the midway point of the 10th and final round. Again, left hook to the body, followed by the right hand upstairs by Cruz. And again, that right hand tagged Vargas. Final minute. The 23-year-old Isaac Cruz in his 24th professional fight, taking on battle-tested veteran Francisco Vargas. Another clash of heads and a cut around the right eye of Vargas.
Honestly, I think a point should have been taken away from Cruz. He won this fight. He's winning this fight, but he doesn't need the extracurricular activities, but he's doing it constantly. And that looked deliberate to me. I got to be honest.
And that's a back cut.
Come on, knock him.
Wow.
Hey, Migo.
No, they shouldn't even let this continue.
The last round, Doc. Can he continue?
He underwent extensive plastic surgery, and
It's the last round.
yet
About a minute now. Not even a minute.
goodness.
Go ahead and stop it.
30 seconds?
Yes. Okay, all right. It's on 30 seconds. Huh? You sure? Come on.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Let's go.
Dr. Luis Chappell's going to allow the fight to continue, much to the delight of the crowd. But you talk about career preservation, and Cruz now smelling blood on the attack. Cruz unloading on Francisco Vargas, and the fistic fireworks that we anticipated are coming to fruition here in the 10th. And referee rules that a knockdown.
They have to stop this
Things have
fight.
gone from bad to worse for Francisco Vargas. We talked about how green the referee, James Green, was, and man, he may have found himself in over his head in the final moments of this fight.
And let's remind people, the doctor did not stop the fight when he had the opportunity. With all due respect, that was a bizarre decision.
Wow.
Not a doctor, but...
And the knockdown?
Yeah, he saw the time. He knew that there was 30 seconds left. Oh, that wasn't right.
Well, in this round, there were a number of clashes of heads, which, to be perfectly honest, in my opinion, Cruz was initiating. We'll see if I'm wrong.
Never, Alberts.
Well, I have been on occasion. There's a head that got in there, and you know, he was leading with his head. And remember earlier in the fight, many times when he was on the inside, he was using his head.
Yes, he always comes in with his head first. Perfect example.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that can happen, but I think the part that was insidious was on the inside when he was using his head all the time.
And he never got a warning for it.
Yeah, maybe one or two, but certainly not a point deducted.
And was it a legitimate knockdown here? Vargas said he was pushed down. Let's see.
And, of course, another clash of heads, but... And another clash of heads. And another clash of heads. Wow. And then there was a left hand that got in there and a body punch. I don't know if you will see when he goes down. Good work by Cruz on the inside when he's throwing his punches. And the horrendous cut that we see.
Again, Cruz saw the opportunity.
Yeah.
He saw the man hurt cut, and he wanted to go for the stoppage.
Yeah, and there were some punches landed, but it's hard to tell.
I don't know.
In any case, oh my goodness. Look at the numbers, and what we'll see here is both the men being pretty active, and the power punches clearly an edge to Cruz, and body punches, of course, he normally lands a large percentage of his punches, normally 48%. It was close to that, in fact, you know, in this instance, and he did better work. Vargas did land his share of punches, and he threw a little bit more. So Vargas had his moments in this fight. It's just they weren't sustained.
Let's get the official decision. Here is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Jesse Reyes scores about 97-92. Randy Russell sees it 99-90. And Eva Zaragoza scores about 100-89. All three in favor of the winner, Isaac Pitbull Cruz.
Well, Isaac Pitbull Cruz at times made it more like a pit fight as he wins over Francisco Vargas, improving to 22-1-1, while Vargas tastes defeat for the first time at 135.